The Niger Delta region is the storehouse of Nigeria's crude oil, which accounts for the largest chunk of the country's revenue.
Despite being so richly blessed with raw materials, the people remain poor, and this has resulted in restiveness in the region. There is an infrastructure deficit. The land and waters have been polluted due to years of oil exploration and unwholesome practices by oil companies, and the much-needed cleanup of the environment is yet to come into full swing.
How will the Nigerian state be able to compensate the Niger Delta people? And is there a need for this? The South Elders Forum wants the presidency zoned to the Niger Delta region. Well, joining us now to discuss this and other related Niger Delta issues is the National Coordinator, South Elders Forum, and the National Publicity Secretary and PRO of the Pan-Niger Delta Forum, His Royal Highness Anabs Sarah Igbe. Thank you very much for joining us.
Good morning and thank you.
Compliments of the season, let's not forget.
All right, it is thought that since the gains has already been made on security in the Niger Delta, only for the former president's house to be attacked. How secure is this region today?
Well, you know, the region was a bit hectic in 2016. And the leaders of the Niger Delta came together from across the whole nation. We came together. All the various interest groups, all the various bodies came together and decided that henceforth we work in one body called the PANDEF, the Pan-Niger Delta Forum. And the PANDEF came on board in 2016, precisely August, and we spoke to our boys. But before the PANDEF, we had a dialogue, and we made ourselves into two groups, the Group A and the Group B. The Group A was to interface with government, and Group B was to go to the creeks. And if you recall, we spoke to our boys, the youths, and they agreed with us that we should go and negotiate. And we went to the government on the 1st of November, had a dialogue with the government wherein we submitted the 16-point agenda of the Niger Delta. We believe if government had strictly followed those things, there would have been peace. But up to this moment, we are yet to see meaningful implementation of those meetings. But notwithstanding, the elders have been talking, dialoguing, sometimes we disagree to agree. And peace has returned. But you know, in Bayelsa recently, there were a lot of issues. The Bayelsa election, people had some feelings. Some people were accusing the former president of taking sides and so on. So you don't expect that all will go well. And they expected him to make statement, he refused to make statement. And so some persons might decide to make noise. But that is not to say there is no peace in the Niger Delta. There is peace, we embrace peace, and that is why we also appeal to others, our brothers in the north, our brothers in the southeast also, to talk to their children, as we did. Nigeria is one country, we believe in one Nigeria. And for Nigeria to move forward, there must be peace. If there is no peace, we cannot move forward. And for Nigeria to move forward, there must be peace. If there is no peace, we cannot move forward. So we are trying our best to make sure that peace is returned in the Niger Delta. Although the boys are still very angry, our people are not happy, because despite all that, because look at the Godi cleanup, we're still not nothing, they are still slow with the Godi cleanup. We learned something I've started, but the vice president assured us that they will brief Panda from time to time the developments. We have not seen much of those developments. The 16-point agenda, only 1.5, I may say, has been implemented.
So is that why the region or the groups in the region are clamoring for a shot at the presidency in 2023?
No, that's a different thing altogether.
Okay.
Why are we asking for the shot? You know, Jonathan went for one term. First, he was the vice president. After 2 years, his boss died. Then, before his boss died, 2 years after his boss became sick, about another half year, he was incapacitated. The doctor of the university came, and he was made acting president and later president. Then he went for first his own tenure, there were agitations, but they were allowed to go for one tenure. After the one tenure, the North agitated that they need to complete the second term. The Yar'Adua did not stay up to a term, and therefore they will go. Jonathan thought it would be easy as a president. He did a lot. He did a lot for both the North, the West, and the East. But for us, it didn't do much for us, but we're happy. Our son was there at that time. And after his first tenure, people were against him that he cannot go for second tenure. But the court cleared him and said he has the right to go second tenure. And he contested. Nigeria did not support him. Whether they support him or not, he lost. We are saying we have cooperated with the successive government, the Buhari administration. The North have gotten their full 8 years.
Okay.
And so if we are talking about zoning, North and South, since the North has gotten their 8 years, ordinarily it will come to the South. And if it's coming to the South, we are saying that we have only served one term. Nigeria as a country that stopped us should please allow us complete our second term.
But how prepared is the Niger Delta in this advocacy? What are the strategies you're employing to ensure that, you know, Nigerians actually see the Niger Delta as a possible choice?
Well, we've started dialoguing. The next year will see us in a better form because we believe that we will not force Nigeria to give us a container. We need to dialogue, we need to negotiate. And you know, today, if there's any group or any zone that is more flexible, is more related, is the South-South. We had a very good relationship with the Southeast. We are with the Afenafena, we are with the Middle Belt. We are with the Dr. Elders Council. So we'll break into Arawa and also let them seriously with us. And from next year, the elders will meet, the consultation will pan them, and see how we can talk to Nigeria. Not only on television or newspaper. We must engage them. We must make them serious in why Niger Delta should be considered. Because if you consider us, it will pay the country more.
How? In what way?
It will pay the country more in the sense that economically, we have no reason to protest. Our son is there. Our daughter will be there to say, we administrate. So within this period, like Jonathan era, there was total peace. And since there is peace in the Niger Delta, it will encourage exploration of oil and gas. To a large extent, it will go. And not only that, we will think of using these resources to industrialize Nigeria. You know the problem we have in Nigeria? Power. And we have huge gas that is being flared. And this gas we are flaring is poisoning the citizens of that Niger Delta. And so the South president, again, will not sit down and allow such gas flaring. He will use those things to industrialize, at least to bring up power. And if South become a power hub, we can make sure that every part of this country has sufficient power. And that is how we bring industrial revolution.
But the 13% derivation that has been given to Niger Delta states in the past years, how, if you look at how this has been used to develop the Niger Delta, not much can be said about that.
Of course, if you look at the Niger Delta terrain, the terrain is so bad. Our terrain, what you spend to do one road in Niger Delta can do 5, 6 roads in the north because of the terrain. We're in the swamp area, we're in the wetland area. Everything about us is swamp. We don't have good road, good land. We're in a very difficult terrain.
So you're saying the
whatever you are putting
enough.
in may not be enough. But that is not the issue. The issue again, our constitution is the problem we have.
Okay.
The constitution empowers the governors to have that 30% derivation. They ought to separate the 30% derivation from the statutory allocation to the government. If that is done, then people will be able to question how much is coming into that fund and what is done. The governors today use this money as if it's their personal money, and they sometimes squander it. That is not real to say because we are also working how we can address it. Our House of Assemblies are also docile. that they are not doing what they are supposed to do, to ask questions. Was the Constitution, again, empowered the House of Assembly to question the governors, not the public. So we are handicapped. And that was why today, when Mr. President talked about forensic audit of the NDDC, we came out strongly to support it. Not only supporting NDDC, we are saying every intervention agency that the government have set up across this country must be audited. Let us know those who are destroying Nigeria. Let us know those who are destroying the Niger Delta, and even publish the contracts they said they've awarded. How many of them have been completed? How many of them are abandoned? So that we'll be able to know who are the enemies of our region and who are the enemies of Nigeria. We are moving it gradually.
So what will happen with that knowledge?
Of course, if we have all the various agencies, by the time the audit established that this person is fraudulent, and those agencies swing into actions, the public will support the agencies. The public will come out against them. And I don't need to come here to say, this is what we do. But the Niger Deltas will know what to do at that time. So we are saying the law itself should be looked at in a manner that even if I become Mr. Governor tomorrow, I cannot be able to spend the money of the people without due process, because there is a law guiding us. So these are the things we are asking for. But for the presidency, we are only appealing to Nigerians to allow us just the 4 years.
You're asking for
after
4 years?
4 years.
Yes, just
Well, what
4
comes
years.
up after 4 years? Because we've seen successive governments say that their agenda cannot be achieved in 4 years, and so they come for a second term. Are you really certain that after 4 years, the South would hand over to another
maybe
region
southeast
in Nigeria?
or northeast?
Well, we believe that we are in zoning. We have a lot of problems in Nigeria. And within these 4 years, anybody coming from the south side should bear in his mind is coming to solve problems. Today, our brothers, our closest brothers in these countries are the southeasterners. Everything about us is common. We are in the same eastern region. We came out and we are very close. They are agitating. They are fighting. They are not. They are agitating. They are fighting. They are not happy.
Okay.
Because they felt they are marginalized in this country. But we can give them assurance that, look, it's better we become one Nigeria. It's better we stay together. All right? And thereafter, we will hand over to the north, and the north will hand over to the south. Because the south, we have 3 regions. We don't care how the north. We don't have them very much homogeneous, unlike the south. South, we have the Yorubas, we have the Igbos, and we have the various ethnic groups, minorities groups coming together. So if we can be able to zone it properly, what is the greed? All you want to be is, I'm a president, I have done what I want to do, and when the vision is loud, then you pull out. But what we are saying for now, what the region is asking for now, you just give us our second tenure, and we'll be contented with it.
All right, let's see how it will all pan out in the coming days. And of course, 2023 is not too far away, though.
Yeah,
but let's see
how. 2020 next year.
Let's see how it all pans out. Thank you very much, His Royal Highness Anabs Sarigbe. Thank you so much, National Coordinator, South Elders Forum, and National Publicity Secretary and PRO PANDEF. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you.
Well, joining us now to discuss this and other related Niger Delta issues is the National Coordinator, South Elders Forum, and the National Publicity Secretary and PRO of the Pan-Niger Delta Forum, His Royal Highness Anabs Sarigbe. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, and once more, Happy New Year.
Compliments of the season. We sure do look forward to the year 2020, which is the start of a new decade. But you've always been a campaigner for the fact that former President Goodluck Jonathan had just 6 years in power, and now the zoning should go to the south. But let's look at it. Your position on this matter, is it constitutional?
First of all, Jonathan did not spend 6 years.
He spends 2 years of...
not up to 2 years.
Not up to 2 years, okay, but
just
at least
say 1.5 years,
6 years
as acting president and president. Then 4 years is first term. First, constitutionally, the Supreme Court ruled that Jonathan went for 1 term. the first term was for Yar'Adua, and he did the beats of Yar'Adua. And if we all witness to what happened in this first term. Most times, as acting president, he was not even the one signing budget, he was not even the one approving. You all knew what really happened. People go out to approve things for him. Oh, Mr. President was sick, but he was there as vice president and acting president. So those periods were not his period. So the Supreme Court ruled that he had a second term. And Jonathan did not go there as Jonathan. He went there and presented his own. So we are saying that since we had only one term in our first outing, after we have spent, by 2023, the country will be about 60-something years. And some part of this country have ruled for over 40 years. Some ruled for more than 12 years. Some ruled for 6 months. And we have ruled for maybe few years. So we are saying for stability and for peace to reign, let us allow this zoning we have, north and south, to continue. And if it's north and south to continue, in the south, the north have completed their 8 years tenure, single tenure. And if it comes to the south, we should be given the opportunity to complete our tenure. That's what we're saying. We're not asking
if the South is given an opportunity, are we saying that we're going to have a consensus candidate to run?
Well, you see, if you look at the political development in Nigeria, after the whole crisis of Abiola dead and all that, the whole nation came together and said all the parties should produce a candidate from the Southwest. And the Southwest produced all contested. It is Nigeria that will decide who they want. We are not going to impose anybody on Nigerians. Our duty is to consult. We have to consult, we have to appeal, we have to talk to Nigerians and let them understand with us. And this our first outing was not too bad. We did sacrifice for the country. And if you look at the way we also left, others would have caused more problems, maybe refusing to leave, and that would have caused the country chaos, at least before they would finally push the person out. And we did all that to make sure there's peace in the old period. And giving us this second tenure, we will do better, because we know the problems of Nigeria. Today, the Southeast is complaining of marginalization. We have Biafra, we have all this.
The Southeast have not had a shot at the presidency. So
yes,
if the Southeast decide to come
they've
out,
had shot.
With the South,
they have had shot of the presidency. Don't forget, we are Nigeria. The first president of this country was Nnamdi Azikiwe. So the Southeast. So you don't say we don't have.
But in recent times, in the
yes, that's
annals of this democracy that
yes,
we're in.
we are saying the same thing. We had several crises. Some have ruled for over 40 years, uninterrupted. Nobody, no problem. We are talking of a new Nigeria. And the new Nigeria allowed things to go normal. You were angry that Jonathan was not supposed to go. And if he had spent one time, he should go. And Nigerians came together and said, yes, that's the position. We're saying, take that position for us. We are doing a lot of sacrifice. Look at our environment is polluted for the sake of Nigeria. Look at the gas flaring for the sake of Nigeria. And we're still doing so much. Look at bunkering, environment, destruction everywhere in the place.
So you expect that a South-South presidency will help solve that problem?
That's 4 years you're asking for. If you had it to our number of years as God presidency, then divide it to the existence of Nigeria. We are not asking too much. But we are not begging, we are not fighting Nigeria, we're all appealing. Nigeria, we are all together, we are one Nigeria, we are one body. Look at the Boko Haram issue. We would have handled it better, and we are handling it better. We will be able to please every part of this country, and peace will return. If you look at the whole country, we are the basket of this country, we hold Nigeria. We are down the throat. The whole Nigeria is resting on us. And so we know the pains. We feel the pains. We feel the pulse of every section of this country. And we believe that a son of the Niger Delta will do better as a president and will take everybody into account. Because don't forget, we are minorities too. So as minorities, we want to see that we serve the food well so that everybody will be happy with what is happening in Nigeria. Today, a lot of people are not happy with Nigeria.
Okay, so you're agitating for a South-South presidency now.
Yes.
Ex-President Goodluck Jonathan was there. What was done to solve these problems, and how do you think a South-South presidency will solve these same problems you've got? Because these problems have been there even before the Goodluck Jonathan era.
Yeah, but we all saw the difference between Goodluck Jonathan and some other presidents. Nigeria saw the difference. I just give you an example of where it was going. For him to even accept defeat immediately shows that we have free mind. We don't look at governance as a do or die. But it's like we are from the same father, the same mother. If you are sharing the food, let it come to us. We are saying if Jonathan was allowed, if he was allowed for 8 years, I don't think we will have the justification to come and shout for presidency. We would have waited for another term, maybe the second, before it come to us. Because he was not allowed to go for second term, that is why we are saying, please, in the interest of peace, in the interest of Nigeria, one Nigeria, Jonathan was not given second term. Let us go for second term. And if you give one a second term, it is in the interest of Nigeria, not for interest, our own interest. A lot of things will be done across the country, and it will be good for all of us. I will not give Nigeria any headache, but rather will bring prosperity to Nigeria.
But let's look at some persons have said getting a consensus candidate might be an issue when it comes to the Niger Delta, because if you look at the politics playing out on this issue, the Soko oil well, of course the River State and Bayelsa, between the River State government and Bayelsa State, do we hope to see an end to the internal wranglings between the two state governments?
Let me tell you something. The Soko oil well issue is a clear matter. It's purely historical issue. The colonial masters demarcated those areas. And because of oil, maybe one thing or the other, some are trying to be smart. But that has been laid to rest by the Supreme Court. The only problem we had was the Supreme Court refused to implement, the Boundary Commission refused to implement the Supreme Court judgment. So the governor of River State went back for the interpretation of the Supreme Court judgment and asked them to implement the judgment. That is not the issue. Even if you say give it to the South-South, the South-South will not just pick a bad at the post of Nigeria. It is the same Nigerians that will decide who is bad at the post of Nigeria. It is the same Nigerians that will decide who is the South-South they need. And we don't need to fight over that. In the case of Falaye and Obasanjo, the Yoruba did not impose Falaye or Obasanjo does. The Nigerians will decide to pick somebody that the South-South may not also like. But what is important is South-South son. Today, the Yorubas cannot say they did not have second term.
But if you look at zoning when it comes to the presidency, some persons say that it gives room for leaders that may not be ready to take up the Nigeria or the challenges that Nigeria has been faced with. Do you think zoning is healthy for our democracy?
You see, if you look at the development of Nigeria, there are a lot of things in our constitutions that we need to remove before you talk of removing the zoning. We must remove ethnicity in our constitution, whereby anywhere you live becomes your state, becomes your home. Until we do that, we will not think of rule out zoning. Because everybody believes, oh, I am not from here. I lived in Lagos for 16 years, but I cannot claim to be a Lagosian because the law did not make me to be a Lagosian. I've lived in Abuja for so many years. I cannot be an Abuja man because the law of Nigeria did not make me an Abuja man. So if we remove those clauses and it goes round, this arrangement we had, this north-south goes round, and every zone has produced the presidency in the second term as we are asking for. I believe it will grow to a point where we will expunge those obnoxious laws that are impediment to this issue of where you come from. We should see ourselves as Nigerians, not state of origin anymore. We should not ask for your tribe. We should not ask for your religion. We ask, are you a Nigerian? You are a Nigerian. Anywhere you are living is where you are living. We are practicing federalism. We are saying we are federal government, but we are not practicing true federalism. Until we develop to true federalism, most of these demands will come down. Right. Even the issue of agitation for resource control, all that, will all come down. Restructuring will all come down because we have true federalism. And that is why people are saying, restructure this country for Nigeria to be at peace. So we need to remove those clauses to enable everybody to see himself as part of Nigeria, irrespective of where he comes from. And when we get to that level, zoning will not be there anymore.
That's after 4 years that you come into power.
All right, thank you very much, His Royal Highness. Sir Egbe, thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you.